What's up, guys? The Phoenix Suns are rolling as a team. They are second in the Western Conference with a 39-15 record, and they are really putting themselves on the map as legit title contenders. The Suns do have a leader and vet in Chris Paul, but they have been able to have guys other than their big three step up in their role. Coach Monty Williams should be a heavy favorite for Coach of the Year due to how he was able to use his players to their strengths and carry over the success of the team that they had in the bubble. In this game, the Miami Heat emphasized a lot of closing off driving lanes and forcing the ball out of the hands of Devin Booker and Chris Paul with traps and doubles out of ball screens. The Heat allowed the Suns role players to take threes, but they wanted a strong contest on those threes. It was an interesting game that saw the Suns win by 20 points, and this game is where the bench of the Suns really went out and won the game with great production from Torrey Craig, Cameron Johnson, Dario Saric, and Jae Crowder. And with the playoffs nearing, the bench and the Suns role players are going to be vital for a deep playoff run. The Heat very early into the game looked to trap Booker off this handoff and force him to drive to the corner where Booker would then throw a bad pass. The Suns ran this action where Chris Paul would come up the lane, Deandre Ayton would screen Crowder's man, Paul passes the ball to Crowder, Crowder would then hand it off back to Paul and set a screen for Paul. Trevor Ariza goes under the screen as he looks to recover back to Paul. Chris Paul makes contact with Duncan Robinson. This would delay Robinson from getting back in front of his man in Crowder. This pass to Crowder opens up a driving lane. Ayton rolling to the rim is able to get in front of Bam, and Crowder's drive draws the attention of Bam. Crowder puts up a floater, he misses it, but since there isn't a body sealing off Deandre Ayton, Ayton is able to tip this shot back in. As Cameron Payne comes up the lane, he passes it to Dario Saric and receives a back screen from Cameron Johnson. Johnson then receives a handoff from Saric. Tyler Herro overplays his closeout and gets out of position. This gives Johnson a lane to drive it inside as Saric slips inside as well, sealing off Bam Adebayo from helping, and Johnson gets a dunk. Off this Payne Saric ghost screen, Dragic and Bam pressures Payne, and this results in Payne passing the ball to Torrey Craig. Kendrick Nunn isn't quite able to get a steal on this play as Saric gets it. Bam recovers back on Saric. The Suns end up passing the ball around, and the Heat are able to close out on this corner three effectively. This is the ideal scenario the Heat wanted when the Suns ran ball screens against them. We see it again on this last play of the first quarter as off this ball screen with Saric, Cameron Payne gets trapped and pressured by Achua and Dragic. As this is happening, Saric is rolling into the paint. Jae Crowder is looking to spot up for a three at the top of the key. The Heat are more concerned with the shooter, and Crowder may have been a miscommunication as Butler and Herro end up looking to close out on Crowder. Payne stays patient and throws this bullet pass to Saric, and he gets a layup. As Chris Paul comes up on this play, Cam Johnson receives a screen from Saric, working on the left side elbow. Johnson would then down screen for Jae Crowder's man. Saric gets the ball on the elbow. Saric waits for Chris Paul to clear out and waits until Crowder comes up. Saric then takes it in for himself and drives it on Achua for the and one. The Suns get this horns action that has Saric come up from the right side elbow and screen Paul's man. Saric then slips as the Heat switch Iguodala onto Paul. While this is happening, the Suns have Jae Crowder coming off the left side corner, and Jae Crowder screens Crowder's man, and Crowder gets a good look at three. On this Chris Paul double screen by Bridges and Ayton, Ayton gets a quick touch and slip and gets in front of Bam Adebayo. Bam is focused on helping and doubling Chris Paul, and Trevor Ariza comes over to tag the rolling Ayton. Chris Paul is able to fake Adebayo into jumping out of position and drops this pass off to Ayton for the dunk. The Suns run the exact same play, but this time opens up a good look for Bridges on the wing for three, but he just doesn't knock it down. On this Suns defensive play on the inbound, the Heat have Robinson quick cut inside, and Kendrick Nunn will receive a screen as he spots up in the corner. There seems to be a miscommunication between Bridges and Booker. Seems like Booker wanted Bridges to cover Nunn, but they both end up covering Robinson and leaving Nunn open for a corner three. And off this inbound, Bam rushes up the court. Ayton is dropping in the paint. Bam goes into a handoff with Robinson, and Robinson is able to get a good look for three. there were some inconsistencies on how the Suns were trying to use Ayton to close out on Robinson. The Bam Robinson handoff is ran again here. It is closed out effectively by Ayton this time and Johnson on this play, and the Heat end up getting a contested Ariza 3. The Heat ran it again, having Robinson come off from the left side corner into a handoff. Ayton is dropping into the paint on this, and Bridges gets caught in the screen, and this is just money for Robinson as he's open for 3. To close out the third quarter, Cameron Payne received a ghost screen from Dario Saric, which ends up in Payne getting doubled. Immediately off the double, Payne attacks the Heat's big and takes him to the rim and finishes with this nice lefty floater. The Heat look to run a 3-2 zone to start the fourth quarter. Here the Suns are able to work the ball around the floor and get Torrey Craig a look for 3. And even though the Heat score on this play, I like the team defense played here. The Suns neutralize this ball screen, having Ayton show himself high and then look to recover to Bam. Bam slips inside, but Chris Paul immediately comes over and tags Bam. Bam isolates on Ayton, and this is good of defense you can get on this shot. This was a back and forth matchup for 3/4 of the game. The Suns were able to get great production from their bench as the Heat looked to key in on Booker and Paul. The Suns dominated scoring at the rim, and 70% to the Heat's 57% according to Cleaning the Glass. That'll wrap up for this breakdown. Thank you guys for watching this video, and we'll see you all later.